Another shot is coming raw and unbounded. The whiskey's always talking and the beer's overflowing. Another shot is gonna hit you with a mind overloaded. The ball is always open with no inhibitions. Another shot will leave your sensories twitching. Just remember, everything we say is just our opinion. But then again, it might be the alcohol talking. It might be the alcohol talking. Let's go. 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 So, I'm calling this one afterthought, aftermath. I don't know what. But if you guys want the honest God truth, I mean, it's the behind the scenes stuff that gets everybody that you don't, a better way to put it, you don't get. Um, I'm drinking Sprite because I'm trying to get my head back in the game. And I'm to the point on everything where, Aunt Jen, I see you. I feel like I bust my ass for everybody. I don't do what I do to use against people later on. I don't do nice things just to turn around and say, hey, by the way, I did this for you. If that were the case, I mean, and yes, this was Steve's idea to go halves on a pirate game for somebody so they could propose to somebody. The point was they wanted to, it wasn't a pirate game. It was a Steeler game. I'm sorry. I'm not okay. Back when I was working at Universal, I had a friend whose girlfriend's dad is dying of brain cancer. And he wanted to do something special for them, for her. He wanted to propose because one of the things her dad wanted to do was walk her down the aisle. And it was something special that we were supposed to do. And I pushed it and promoted it and so on and so forth. He ended up going to the game with her, got to propose. Was I bitter when I got laid off? And that same person didn't step up and try and help me? No. because I don't do stuff for other people expecting something back from them, expecting, them to, you know, I do it because it makes me feel good to help other people because I've been down. I know what it's like to feel alone. I know what it's like to want to end it, to allow other people as much freedom as possible, but don't want to say anything because you don't want to fight, because you don't want to hurt them. But then when they trigger you, I mean, I've got people, I'm not going to lie. I mean, I've got people in my life that, will take and take and take and take. But the moment I finally push back and say, hey, man, hey, girl, hey, something's not right here. Their first response, I'm out. I'm done. Seriously, I'm gone. I'm done. It feels like I've got people in my life that are those people that do stuff, do those good things that are there for you just to turn around and use it against you later on. And honestly, I'm in one of those places tonight. This is not a cry for help. I've got people. I've messed up a lot with my temper. I've messed up a lot with my fighting. And there does come a point where when my deepest areas, there are times I want to just fully give up. There's been a lot of ventures in my life that I've tried. Um, I've tried to be partners with people. Now, I can accept the fact that at the end of the day, it could be me. Maybe truly at the end of the day, I don't play well with others. But as soon as I start thinking that, I think back to all the times I've said, look, I'm trying to do something for us. I'm trying to build us. I want it to be us. You know, I've made it very well clear that, I got laid off for, let's just call it very sketchy reasons back in February. And I've been trying very hard since to get back, to get off the unemployment, to support the family, to do what I need to do. And honestly, it feels like I am just beating my head against a wall. Now, would I love to be able to do this full time? I intentionally did not drink all weekend long. I did it the other night when I was out and about. I didn't look to do it last night when I mean, I've had all the opportunity. We do have a bar show and we do take it a little further than what we need to do at times. And I don't expect a lot of people to be on here right now. You know, I have in the past gone too far with the drinking where I pass out. Um, I fall asleep out here. I've passed out in the living room. It's just, it's not one of those nights. And when you have an awesome show like I just did with people, I've said a million times, people don't realize what goes on behind the scenes. And it's not just on this show. I started this show, I came up with the idea as an outlet. And I brought people in because I love people in my life. I love doing stuff with people. I've never had a lot of friends. And some of the people that I've gotten closest to, at the end of the day, turned out to be in it for themselves, I guess the best way to put it. Now, have I become close to certain people like that? Yeah. And um at the end of the day, probably one of the closest people I ever had, I lost back during COVID. We were both troubled. I became good friends with his family, his sister, um, his brother-in-law, his true mom and dad. And they were there for me to help me get to where I need to go. And I'm not going to say names or throw anybody out there, but I listen to people going against my gut. And I am to this day still wishing, because the last message I got from him was, "You've been back up here for X amount of years, and not one time have you tried to get a hold of me. Not one." I actually saved his message on my phone. And somebody said, "Hey, when after he died, I told them about it, and they're like, 'Well, put it on me. I can bear it.' Well, so can I. But that doesn't mean I'm not hurt or sad. I can put it on you all day long. That's not going to change what it did to me. That didn't change me trying to be me. That should have been me." Do I have the illusion that I might have been the one that saved him? No, I don't. But I never even tried. So I listened to everybody else. I don't try to pander to people. I try to be me. And me is getting along with everybody until it's time to not get along. If I hurt somebody, I'm the first one 10 times out of 10 to turn around and say, I'm sorry. I don't turn around and do it in a snide way. I don't do it for views. I don't do it for attention. What you get with me is what you get. I try to be honest with you from the get go. But at the end of the day, I don't. You know, I'm not gonna lie. Me and my co-host have had many of conversations about how the show should go, and I've tried to use that. When we first started, we had a bar set up, and the bar you see right here. And the thought was just go ahead and let's get as drunk as possible and just say the stupidest things. Just whatever comes out. The original plan was to no nothing racial, nothing political. Let's leave the political out of it and let's leave the religion out of it. And it progressed from there. The night that I ended up falling asleep after being so drunk, and I've done that one other time because of my own stupidity. I don't like doing that. When you go to a bar, I've said it a million times, you need to be responsible. You need to sit down, just have a drink. Have a few drinks, have some laugh with your friends, and call it a day. There really is, at the end of the day, no need to go past that. So, as I've gotten older, one of the things, especially, starting to do this, I've forgotten some of those original rules. And no, I can't keep up the way I used to. And sometimes, I mean, drinking does, it does help a little bit every now and then. With in a certain extent. And I try very hard not to go past that point. But once this camera goes off, people don't realize what goes on behind. And as we found out, I mean, anybody that watches any of these other shows, I mean, the stuff that goes on behind the scenes, it weighs on the person for the next one. You know, if I'm going to be totally honest, I mean, I even brought it up to him tonight, like his competition with me. I mean, his competitiveness with me. Uh, I could go back to, I can do the same thing he does and go back to the original days and stuff before a lot of stuff. So I mean, if he wants to play that game, I can do that too, with clout and with evidence. You know, I'm like all of you guys. It's easy for me to fall under spells and stuff. You know, when people promise something or tell me something, or you know, if you say at the end of the day, I can do this, you know, I can do this for this, and I expect that. You know, I'm not going to say anything to you guys I wouldn't say to the person that's usually behind the camera, or the person beside me. I've said it to both of them. I mean, in my mind, and I've heard, you know, I've had other people to back me on this, so I never wanted to play this card. I mean, this was something I had created. This was my baby. And it's my, I guess you could say, incessant need to have friends that I let people kind of walk all over me, and I let them do their thing. Now, there's certain things I do crack down on, yes. Because at the end of the day, we're in the public eye. I mean, this we're you know, we've all admitted we wanted to get paid. There's certain things you can say, there's certain things you can do on this show, but then there's also certain things you can and can't, you know, you can't do. You just can't say. You know, I've got somebody tell me, let me cook. Well, when I say, when you say, let me cook, what do you mean? You know, because I've got my own opinion of what you mean. You know, I constantly try, you know, I keep saying we change things, we go on, we've progressed. And even I catch myself, you know, I try to keep up with everybody's comments, but at the same time, I'm also trying to share focus on the person sitting right beside me. Conversation. How hard is it? Is it really that hard? You know, be real, be you. And if you are is that person that wants to spout the racial stuff, that you know only can talk about one or two things and that's it, that you need, you know, I do take offense when I'm sitting here trying to have a conversation with somebody and they're far away, they're distant, so on and so forth, you know, and then you know we bring somebody else on and all of a sudden bam. So am I boring you? That bothers me because you won't talk about it. And if I bring it up to you, you feel like I'm attacking you. You know, it bothers me when I'm trying to talk to other people or I'm trying to vent, or, you know, because you're supposed to be a friend of mine. And if my voice goes up one octave, all of a sudden I'm yelling at you. I'm very loud. I am very passionate. At the end of the day, I try very, very hard. And it's not even just on this show. I try it in my personal life too. I am loud. I'm passionate. But there is a point, behind it. And I've had people tell me, yeah, my temper. Don't fight so much. Don't, I'm telling you, I've lost so many jobs because not just my temper, but, straight up fist fighting. I had an opportunity, I was a bouncer at a local bar. And I put up with it. I even went to the owner, I went to the managers after the fact. Instead of, I went against my gut again. I so badly wanted to fight back, but I think of my family. I think of my friends. What would be the right thing to do? Well, this specific individual literally put hands on me, shoved me. And you could say I'm being an internet tough guy. There's people that saw it. Dude, you gave me the weakest push. It was something that I read, like, it was like your way of saying, okay, I want to fight, but I'm not going to be the bad guy here. Respect is a big thing for me. When I'm in somebody else's house, it's like the old saying goes, I'm not going to reach into your fridge without permission. I feel like I've had people in here multiple times now, out of respect for others. And they, I feel like they've pushed that issue with me. Just because, yeah, my partner's 6'9", but I mean, if you haven't noticed already, that doesn't scare me. If you think that's going to protect you, I am being respectful. And I'm to the point now, the reason I'm doing this after hours, I'm putting it out there for everybody. I'm at my breaking point. And if you want the honest God truth, yeah, there's times I've thought about doing the true fuck it all. And that's including tonight. At the end of the day, people have to realize, there's give and take. I've had people sit here, I'm like, do not disrespect me in my own house. I will not disrespect you in yours. Do not disrespect me in mine. And I had somebody just out of pure spite one night tell me to go to hell. Their exact words was, you can go to hell. I give everybody their chance to talk because they give me my chance. I've tried to have conversations. But at the end of the day, now I'm to that point where part of me wants to just say fuck all of you, and I'm done. Why try? But then I'd be contradicting myself. Don't bitch. Don't go against it. Keep fighting. Keep going. You know, I've failed a lot. And I've put blame in people's direction is the best way to put it, but I have not blamed others. You know, Kat has said it multiple times. I don't sleep. You know, one of the things I wanted to do, I would love to do this full time. Honestly, I would. Just being able to get out here and spit and talk and just go on. I don't have to be drunk to do it. I've proven that quite a few times now. But I am not in a good place. I'm really not. And like I said, the main reason I started this whole thing was to have that outlet. And yeah, we're coming up on the 1 year mark, and I don't think I'm, like somebody has said before to me, it's not going to happen overnight. No, but I've been doing this for a year, and people involved have been doing it for quite a while with us. You know, I've sacrificed family time. I've sacrificed time in general, even before I was unemployed. For somebody to come up and say, "Oh, this just takes up all my time," I so badly want to look at them and say, "Fuck you." Because I stay on the clock all the time to try and build. And yes, it has dug into my personal life. We do a lot of drinking on this show. And, you know, there's times I've let it go further than what it needed to. But people also seem to forget, I keep it in check a lot of times. People want to focus on that negative time. And that's where the competitive is. I'm not going to lie, guys. I'm married into a family that is very competitive in life. And being a northerner in a southern town, a southern state, I've had to swallow a lot of stuff over the years, and people seem to forget that and what I've had to go through. I am constantly trying to be there for other people, and I'm using this time right now. I'm not being arrogant. It's just I feel like it is my time to branch out there and finally say, guys, you know, you seem to forget you're not the only ones hurting. I'm trying very hard to say certain things without overstepping. And again, it's going against my gut because I truly want to air everything out right now with how things are. And I start to wonder at times, maybe it's me. Am I the one portraying, stronger than what I am? Am I the one bringing people into my life that I don't know how to say this properly. I guess a good way to put it is, I end up attracting people that are a lot like me, which is not a bad thing. But then if they have those same toxic aspects, it wakes me up to what I'm doing wrong. And when I see that, it does help me to change certain aspects, but uh but then I ask myself, am I changing for other people or am I going to be me? Now, my co-host has multiple times told me he feels like he's being censored. He's not being him. When it comes to business, sometimes you can still be you, but you have to be a different version of you. There's been a lot of speculation in the past, and some of it has come to fruition. Honestly, I mean, I've seen it firsthand of what other people have said. No, as much as I try and boast, you can't please everybody. When it comes to business, yes, there are certain rules you have to abide by if you want to be successful. And people are just gonna have to deal with that. Me personally, and I'm not speaking for anybody else, I've never been a fan of using racial slurs. I've never been a big fan of talking about politics. Politics has actually almost cost me my marriage. Religion. There's certain things. I mean, you can talk around stuff, but it does not need to be the focal point. Why try and divide everybody? Because if you are, then you're focusing on one thing and one thing only, and not looking at the grand scheme of everything. Out of respect, I've let people come in here and disrespect me. And then whenever I do finally fire back, people are like, oh, this is not you. Okay, let me clear the air for everybody. This is not nobody else's place. This is my house. I would not treat you the way I feel like I have been treated. When I get to the point anymore where I got to question my own self, my own being, why, let me just put it this way. Why keep going on any aspect? So take that as you will. Sometimes people have to sit back and go, maybe it's us. What have I done to make him feel this way? And I think about that too. What did I do to make this person feel that way? I have fucked up a lot. You know, I've hurt people. I don't like hurting people. I don't like seeing people upset. I don't like to be I don't like having people upset at me. I really don't. That kills me. It really does. It hurts. Deep down. You know, do I want what I try to do to be successful? Yes. Whether it be the show, whether it be my, me providing a job for my wife and kids to pay the bills, so on and so forth. I bust my ass. But if I commit to something, I go through with it. I'm not trying to plug this show by no means. But when I sit down and say, I would love to do this full time, I think there's the possibility there. And I try to listen to everybody else. But fact of the matter is, I really do. I mean, there's right now where we're at, we're a group of individuals. And I say that because right now, my household is a group of individuals. You need to find a way at the end of the day to listen to everybody, to find that common ground, to become that team. Not constantly saying, you're censoring me. Oh, you're yelling at me. Oh, you can't tell me what to do. Oh, nobody tells me what to do. Because at the end of the day, there's rules on everything that you do. If I can realize that, why can't everybody else? You know, I do have friends out there that I can call them almost at any point. And there are certain ones out there that have been trying their ass off. That want to be that peacekeeper because they've been where I've been at. But then there's others that, at the end of the day, hey, I've had demons in the past. I beat them. So no matter what, I just want to remind them that I've got demons too. We've all got demons. But what you see on this screen is me. It's real. This is me trying. I wanted to make sure, since we went off, no more alcohol. I'm drinking Sprite. Everybody can see it right here. Sprite. Okay. So what you guys are getting 100% right now is me. I'm that person when I say I feel like I'm a simple person. Ball games and barbecues. That's all I wanted when I moved up here. I came back home, and as I put it to my wife, put me at home field advantage and let me prove to you. I had a 3-month hiccup. when we first moved up here. And then I've got my reasons on why I'm the first person in 80 years. I'm the only person in 80 years that you lay off. That hits. You know, I would have thought that somebody would have fought and fought and fought for me that I had fought for. Okay, so it didn't go out my way. Cool. You know, so now I get to do the unemployment aspect of everything. I got to try and constantly, you know, let's call it what it is, guys. This unemployment is bullshit. You know, here, we'll give you money, but you're required to put in at least 3 aspects. Doesn't matter if it works for your life or not. Doesn't matter if it's a job that's going to work for you or not. You still have to apply for it. Okay, fine. You know, at the end of the day, beggars can't be choosy. But for fuck's sake, you know, I was the first one when I first got on here and started looking. I'm like, Jesus Christ, there's so many fucking jobs out there. But it's not an easy thing. You know, if there's anybody out there watching right now, I mean, I can take your advice. It'd be kind of nice to know if I was out there not alone. This is me kind of saying, you know, right now, this is me actually reaching out to everybody. I could use a friend. I could use some advice. You know, there is a little bit of selfishness behind me coming on here right now. I want to feel like I'm not alone. You know, it's not the easiest thing in the world to come out, admit when you feel like you're a failure. I mean, granted, I know it's like it's late. But fact of the matter is, if you want to say it's a pity party for me, whatever at this point, because it's really hard to keep going with when I feel like I'm trying so hard for everybody else. And at the end of the day, when I try to be me, you know, I can't be. Because then I've got somebody turn around saying, I'm censoring them. I'm yelling at them. That I'm not thinking about anybody else but myself. Honestly, at the end of the day, I can truly admit I've got nobody else in my life that will ever admit fault. That survival instinct in all of my friends all of my family, all the people close to me kicks in. At the end of the day, yeah, I feel like I'm the only one that truly puts the real me out there. Not to try and get personal, but in my home life, I'm that guy that apparently everybody else can say what they want, and if I say anything different, it's arguing. It's against. On this show, I cannot voice my disapproval, my own personal opinion without it sound like I'm attacking somebody. I'm yelling at somebody. You know, I'm to the point now where if you can do better, start your own damn show. If you don't have the time to put into this, go find something else to do. Continue on until you figure out what works best for you. Because obviously this isn't working. I've tried very hard for the past almost 1 year now. Yeah, okay, it's only been 1 year. And most businesses go out in a year. I'm not going anywhere. I've already proven it. I'm going to clarify with everybody right now. I can do this. Look, I can move a mouse. I can talk. I can get out here and do stuff. I can do this on my own, but I don't want to. I love having my best friend beside me right now. When he wants to, he can talk. I love having somebody right here. When we are on point, this show is fucking spectacular. But if you want me to be the arrogant asshole, at the end of the day, yeah, hey guys, I'm going to tell you flat out. I started this thing. I brought everybody in. I'll do it on my own. I don't want to, though. I would rather have my team. And that goes in my personal life, too. I've got your back, babe. I really do. 100%. But I'm sick and tired of people telling me, because that goes back to even my cousin said one of the bad parts about my mom's side of the family, we are so passive aggressive. My dad's side, completely opposite. But the only thing I have left right now is my mom's side, And we are very passive aggressive. It's just like, okay, we'll voice our opinion, but then again, we'll just let it go after that. And whatever happens, happens. You want to be a true fighter? I fight for everything. I'm going to keep fighting for the success of this show. I'm going to fight for the success of my family, of my friendships, everything. That's all I've ever done is fight. From day one. I don't give a fuck if you're 6'9". Trust me, I'll put you on your ass. I don't care if you're a recovering addict, alcoholic, whatever. Be real, be you. If you're raised to be quote unquote independent, till death do us part. I'm as I'm talking, I'm sitting here thinking, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. Less than an hour ago, I was ready to fucking just call it on everything. And again, take it as you will. I'm not going to keep doing this. I'm not going to keep bowing down to everybody else. I'm going to fight. If your way's right, I'll accept it. I've shown that. I've admitted when I've been wrong. I don't act like an asshole and then turn around and say, oh, I heard I hurt your feelings, so I'm going to apologize. Fuck you. I'm sure there's people that's going to go back and watch this, or people even watching right now that are going, oh, aren't you just something? You know what? I guarantee the people watching us right now are the ones that are toxic in my life. And if you want the honest God truth, I'm ready just to call it on all of you. I'm tired of the bullshit. I'm tired of busting my ass out here. And then just to make sure I try and keep the peace. Hey, I apologize to you. And yes, there's been times I've come on this show and kind of pandered to all you, but you know what? At the end of the day, I'm sick of losing sleep. I'm sick of being the one that has gone through with what I've said I was going to do. The mistakes I've made, there's been a few I've made after moving back up here. And I've remedied them. Every one of them. So if you think for 1 second that my mistakes in the past, you're going to keep holding them against me, I'm done. I can only say I'm sorry so many times. Now that it's 2:00 in the morning, I'm going to say, now that Mother's Day over, there's family that, want to come in and, hypocrisy kills me. I try very hard not to be a hypocrite. When I argue with people or I get into it, I back it with facts. I'll give you examples of why what I say works, why I feel like I'm right. I am tired of people just coming out being those people that are 1 + 1 = 2. Nope, nope, nope. You didn't factor in this. I'm not going to lie, guys. I mean, for every 5 times I'm in a happy place, things are going good. I'm not even going to say the other 5. I'm going to say the other 6, 7. I'm tired of busting my ass. I'm tired of fighting. I'm tired of everybody just wanting to, I'm not that guy anymore. So I'm saying this flat out. If you want to call it and you think you're in the right, you think I'm wrong, you're in the wrong fucking room then. If you don't have time for this show, see ya. Talk to me when you've got the time. Me personally, I make time and don't make excuses. And honestly, at the end of the day, I am tired of being that guy that just sits back and lets it happen. Let you talk. Let you say your thing. Guess what? I talk loud. I'm not going to sit there and whisper to you. No, I'm going to tell you flat out how I am, what I'm feeling. I'm bearing it all right now, guys. I've made accusations at people. Guess what? I once told somebody, don't tell me or don't say anything to me because you bring nothing to this. And I got told, you can go to hell because they brought this person this. We've all on this show, every one of us, even the people I'm mad about, has brought people to this show. You're not special in that aspect. That's think for yourself and yourself only. Now, I'm sorry if you can't sit here and have a conversation with me. Just because you're in a mood. Because I am no different now than what I was when I was working. I'm trying to get back in the working area. I'm sorry if you feel like I'm yelling at you. Just because my voice goes up an octave. Just because I'll tell you what, I'll take that back. Just because I raise my voice a little bit doesn't mean I'm yelling at you. Fact is, I've let a lot of stuff go. And you know what? I hate to do this. I hate to play this card. If you're not in, you're out. Because at the end of the day, I'm looking at the bigger scheme, not just the small part. And if you can't do that, then I'm sorry for you. Talk to me when you think you can. That goes for the show. That goes for my life outside of the show. Let me clear the air, guys. I'm not originally from this area. I grew up outside of here. Technically, I grew up in an area that was rival to this town. You know, I was so excited about moving to Tennessee back in 94. I never thought I would be called the words that I was called or treated the way I was. No matter how hard I tried to fit in. And the bad part is that part, did I get along with everybody when I moved to another state after that? No. But I had more friends. Things got better for me. Grades went up. Everything was back to normal, basically. And then we moved back. Tennessee, North Carolina, back to Tennessee. There's a reason why I left Tennessee back in 97. And it wasn't just because of a girl. And then, you know what the weird part is? Like I said, when I moved back up here, it doesn't matter that I knew a lot of the people. As soon as I said Tennessee, a lot of them have forgotten about me because I hadn't seen them from like first or second grade because of a lot of the shit that has happened. A lot of them didn't remember me. And then years after graduation, you know, okay, social media, I found you. Oh, now you remember me. Weird. You know, it has felt like moving to Tennessee here for me at times, and even my wife kind of feels like the same way. You know, she feels how I felt when I moved there. You know, the drama and stuff. Whatever happened to the simple things in life? Why can't we sit down and just watch a game? Yeah, I'm a competitive person. But at the end of the day, if I sit down and I beat you at cornhole, you beat me, I'm gonna laugh. It's gonna be fun. If I beat you at pool, we're gonna laugh. We're gonna have fun. You beat me, so on and so forth. You beat me at trivia. It doesn't matter. I can say it till I'm blue in the face. I'm tired of fighting with people. And that doesn't mean my way is always the right way. But at least sit down and have a conversation with me. And if I turn around and argue why I think my way is right, no, at the end of the day, I'm still, you know, if you're right, I'm gonna admit it. I've done it. For fuck's sake. If you guys want the honest to God truth, I went in tonight and the first thing I asked, I'm like, can I have somebody just to sit down and talk to? I know it's late. And I felt like I was immediately attacked. You know, there's nights where I will openly admit I'm drunk, that I've drank too much. And yes, there's nights I fell asleep on this couch sitting right over here, or this one right here. But like I've told people, I mean, there's things I have not said that I've left out so not to hurt you, so not to upset you. I hold a lot of stuff in. Why? Because at the end of the day, I want to be a team player. But I think a lot of people take advantage of my passiveness. And when I do finally let loose, they're just like, oh, you're just being an asshole. I'm not going to lie. At the end of the day, guys, if you want the honest to God truth, and I let one night where I was really upset and I let my intrusive thoughts hit. I went on to a site and was trying to reach out to people, and it backfired. And honestly, I haven't been on that social media much since. And I wonder times, none of us like to hear we're wrong. But when I'm wrong, I try to learn from it. I try to move on. I take my mistakes as lessons. But guys, if you want the honest to God truth, I mean, there's only so many times. I can keep trying. Truth be told, the whole idea for this show was with another friend, and he had his own demons. We've squashed it, but did we really? Because we haven't talked since. Before that, I tried to get a landscaping business going, and it was with somebody that was almost 20 years younger than me. That was a kid that was in my, I can't blame him because he was in the same state of mind. He was trying to prove himself to everybody. So even when I had experience in something other than what he had, he took offense to it. The kid was 20 at the time. And I was in my late 30s, almost 40 at the time. So I tried to get in with another friend, and the one common denominator was I was always the one trying to go out and find business, constantly pushing our product. Now, when I started DJing, originally we were doing it to fund a band. I've always wanted to be in a band. I can't play a guitar. I can't play, I can play a little bit of the drums, but it turns out, hey, I'm a decent singer. Brought my wife in. Something I was trying to do for her because she's always wanted to sing. And it got to a point where it was kind of just, it wasn't going anywhere, and we were having trouble finding other musicians, so we started the DJing stuff. And by his own words, I knew music. Specifically, I knew today's music. I could read the crowd better. When you're in a band, you have a specific set, you, like there's a specific tone. They know what they're getting from the get-go. Hey, we're a rock band, we're a country band, we're a folk band, whatever. Whereas as a DJ, you have to have a wider range. You have to be able to read that crowd. What do they want to hear? Okay, I got them on the floor, they're dancing. Okay, might be time to go ahead and let them take a break, then bring them back out, so on and so forth. So the agreement was, I did the music, he did the sound. So much, dude. His knowledge of how to run sound and lights was awesome. If like the music went down or if anything happened, he could be on the spot, and it worked for a little while. It paid his bills minimally, and he openly admitted to people he's got the easiest job. He had to say this to my stepdad. you know I've got the easiest job. I just set up everything and I sit back and I don't do anything. And then we came up with a podcast idea, and then he disappeared for months. So doing a live stream podcast went off to the wayside for a little while. And I had another friend come in, and it was the weirdest thing, just watching them sit there and stare at, all the stuff I had sitting over there. And he finally asked me what all that stuff was. And I was like, well, this is what it's for. And he loved the idea. And, from night one, he did something that could have got us just completely busted from the get-go. Luckily, we did it on a night where it was our first night. Nobody was listening. We just finally, we set everything up, got it going, and just said, kick it. And then from then, it was, here we are a year later. I've had people say, you know what, after I got laid off, they're like, well, take this opportunity to figure out what you want to do. I'm like, well, I love doing this. I love talking to people. I love getting out there. It gives me a chance to air myself out, make myself feel better. And originally they were supportive, it seemed like. And then before you knew it, um, what started off on one, you guys have seen the different variations of how we've set up this stage and everything. And it progresses. And I'm not going to lie. I've got people in my life that know how to bullshit. And I used to be that person, but people can pick up on that really quick. And I've never tried to bullshit anybody. I've always tried to be me. And I've done it in a language that everybody can listen to. I've always tried to learn. I meant what I said tonight on the show. Um, I grew up a little bit when I had my first one. I grew up even more after the second one. I was a late bloomer. I wish I had realized ahead of time a lot of stuff. I wish I can go back and change certain things and fix things and maybe try and start over certain stuff. So when I see my son doing what I should have done, the amount of joy that just fills my heart. Because no, I haven't been easy on him. I really haven't. But I've always tried to, for as hard as I was on him, I tried to show him the rewards. Okay, let's go fishing, son. Let's go. I've always made time, and I'm trying to find a way to do that with my daughter as well. That whole yin and yang thing. And as much as some of us can learn from the past, some of us can learn from mistakes, some of us can learn from what hasn't worked. At the end of the day, I could be as mad as I want at her. I mean, I could just be through the roof, ready to throw it all in. But there's that part of me that just can't let go. There's still a part of me that, like, what's a good way to put it? She does fill a certain hole in my life. And I'm still prone for going off the deep end at times, but one of my biggest fears is being alone, honestly. And that's all around, I guess the best way to put it. I want friends. I want people in my life. But that's not to say at the end of the day, I just would love to. There are times I still think about, we'll just call it those intrusive. I'm not going to lie, tonight was one of those. And when I get those intrusive thoughts, I do, and, it was told to me, hey, think of your kids. I guess at the end of the day, guys, I'm not perfect. But know this, even if I fuck up, I'm going to find a way to fix it. When I say I'm going to do something, even if I mess up or I fall off the path and I start to go back to that old me or whatever, I find a way to go another route. But I'm not gonna lie, guys, I expect others to do pull their fair share. And I'm sure there's a lot of people watching this that are just, bored out of their mind. Wah wah. I've probably pissed some people off. Fine. My door is always open. But I will leave everybody with this one. Finish what I start. If you're watching the show right now, this is my baby. And I've said it to the people that are involved. I'll start over. I'd rather be a team. I think we can do a lot, but I will start over. And I'm going to keep trying at the end of the day. I'm not going to make excuses. I'm not going to give up. And I mean what I say. If I turn around and I say I'm going to do something, you best be sure I'm going to bust my ass to try and do it. Not make excuses to why I don't. And I'm just to the point in my life where, yeah, honestly, fuck it. I'm going to say it. There's times, yeah. I mean, and very recently, I've just wanted to end it all. For some weird reason, I thought maybe come on here and talk. I can't talk to others, but for some reason I can talk to everybody here. Maybe I just got lucky because I mean, with the time and everything, nobody's on here. Who really cares, right? I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, it's just another person bitching, another person, it's another podcast. Even if we quit today, I guarantee very few people would notice tomorrow. But it's thinking like that that drives me. I guess to a certain degree, I mean, maybe I didn't need people coming on, but at least I got to air it out. So, guys, I'm going to leave everybody with this one. Um, if it's the last time you hear another shot, you hear me, I don't know how to say it. Who knows what's going to happen tomorrow, guys? I might wake up tomorrow and just go, what the hell did I say? What was I thinking? But at the end of the day, I mean, who knows? No, at the end of the day, I went down fighting either way. And I implore all of you to do the same thing. So I can't guarantee anything. I still have the hope that in the morning I'm in a better thought. Let's just go that way. I mean, I know for a fact that tomorrow I can wake up and decide everything's done. And most people are just going to be like, well, business as usual. Oh, well, right? I'll keep going, guys, somehow. I just don't know how or where. You guys have a good night. And I'll leave you just for those. No matter what, guys. I mean, at the end of the day, who knows? I've got nothing witty. Fuck it. You know, hey, just remember, everything's just an opinion, but I'm sure for a lot of you watching this, it might be the alcohol talking.
Looking for a party, good man, have you found it? Another shot is coming raw and unbounded. The whiskey's always talking and the beer's overflowing. Another shot is gonna hit you with a mind overloaded. The bar is always open with no inhibitions. Another shot will leave the accessories twitching. Just remember, everything we say is just our opinion. But then again, it might be